SK High Velocity Match. This is the newest ammunition from SK. Is it going to be all the hotness? Watch the video to find out. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm up here at the Ultimate Reloader Ridgeline Range. It is an absolutely beautiful day. Here's what I'm thinking for testing and evaluation of this SK High Velocity Match ammunition. First, we're going to get things set up at 50 yards. I'm going to shoot off the bench. We're going to measure velocity and we're going to measure accuracy. Then we're going to push things to 100 yards and do some shooting on some DM target steel. Let's get to it. I started the day at 50 yards shooting 3 successive 5-shot groups with the SK High Velocity Match ammunition. The cold bore group was the best. Let's take a look at that group. The rifle I'm shooting here is a Bergara B14R trainer. This is just like the HMR rifle series that you'd find with centerfire, but it is in .22 long rifle. It's got the Remington 700 footprint, which is awesome. I have a full review on this that you're going to want to check out, plus some other ammunition testing stories. Using the Athlon Midas Tac 6-24 by 50 scope, I've got a bubble level, I've got a throw lever, kind of everything that I have on my PRS rifles. Shooting with a Harris SBRM bipod and an Armageddon Gear Game Changer rear bag. So the 3 5-shot groups, the first group was actually the best at .157 inch 5-shot group at 50 yards. That's the best group that this rifle has turned out in all of the testing that I've done. But what's really interesting is to take a look at the average velocity, right? Because that's what this match ammo is really centered around, is higher velocity while maintaining consistency and while maintaining good accuracy. So the average velocity for the 3 5-shot strings was 1257.1. That's a little less than 6 feet per second under what the advertised velocity is. With just a bit more barrel length, I think we would definitely get that velocity, if not potentially exceed it. Average velocity SD was 15.1 feet per second. That first group with the cold bore turned in a 10.2 feet per second SD, which is really good. Again, the first group measured .157 inches. That's the one that you saw me shoot in real time. The second had a flyer. That increased it to .634, but then we were back down to .292 inches for the third 5-shot group. So the overall average was .361 inches. I followed this testing up with testing with some similar ammunition with same conditions and also some hunting ammunition. Let's take a look at those results next. I ended up shooting 3 additional types of ammunition in the same conditions with the same setup. I started with SK Standard Match, which I've already published results for. Followed that up with Federal Game Shock, a more economically oriented but high velocity ammunition. And also tested Lapua Center X, another fine match ammunition. The conditions were not completely ideal for testing ammunition. The sun on the south-facing hillside just below the 100-yard range gives a bit of mirage and heat boil during the day, but it wasn't ridiculous. So these results are going to be similar to what you'd get in average shooting conditions. The SK Standard Match had a velocity average of 1075.8, an SD of 8.6, which was notable, and a 5-shot group size of 0.525 inches. Lapua Center X came in with a velocity of 1061.6, about 200 feet per second slower than the SK high velocity match. Had an SD of 5.1, which is the lowest that we recorded during this day of shooting, and a 5-shot group size of 0.431 inches for those 5 shots at 50 yards. Federal Game Shock, I threw this into the mix because it's a high velocity ammo. It uses a 40 grain bullet just like the SK high velocity match, but is more economical and targeted at a different audience. A good comparison nonetheless. So it had an average velocity of 1258.6, within about a foot per second of high velocity match. The SD was 12.2 feet per second, and the group was 0.656 inches. So there you go, 4 different types of ammunition compared with the same rifle in the same conditions. Then came the fun part. I have a bunch of rimfire targets from DM Targets, and I took this small sage rat that I have, it's only about a couple inches wide, and pushed that all the way out to 100 yards to see what kind of consistent shot placement I could get on steel at that range. And I was able to put 10 consecutive shots on steel at that range, which makes me feel confident in my capabilities with this rifle and that ammunition. So there you go, some thorough hands-on testing with SK's new high velocity match ammunition. Traditionally, you've either had the choice between match ammunition with lower velocity or budget ammunition with less precision and higher velocity. I feel like this new SKU from SK provides the best of both worlds. And here's what I'd like to know is, what do you think of this ammunition? Please drop a comment. I'd love to hear what rimfire rig you're shooting, what you're shooting at different distances, what kinds of targets, and what kind of results you've gotten with similar types of ammunition. That's it for this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe with notifications, because you're not going to want to miss the content I've got coming up. Also, links down in the video description. I'm on Patreon, and I've got Ultimate Reloader shirts at the Ultimate Reloader store. Any support that you show is most appreciated. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, happy shooting and happy reloading.